Welcome to Home with Justin. Welcome to a garden that feels like a story unfolding. Picture us standing at the gate of a small white cottage, a narrow path leading through beds rich with color and texture. Together we will read this landscape, learn the simple principles that give it charm, and follow a clear, hands-on plan so you can create a similar garden that fits your space and life. This is for anyone who wants beauty without overwhelm. A garden that invites both pollinators and people. Begin by looking at the garden as layers and movement. The central path gives direction and rhythm while the beds on either side breathe with layered planting. Low ground covers at the edge, medium perennials forming the main chorus, and taller shrubs and climbers framing the cottage. That layered approach creates depth at every eye level and makes the space feel grown rather than built. Think of paths as the spine and planting as the warm clothing draped along it. Both are necessary for comfort and beauty. Next, map the site simply. Walk the space at different times of day and note sun and shade, wind exposure, and any wet or dry pockets. This cottage scene has sunny borders and cooler, shaded corners near the house and hedge. Use those observations to place plants wisely. Sun lovers like salvias, lupins, and marigolds on the bright edges. Shade-tolerant plants like hostas or foxgloves closer to walls and beneath trees. A quick sketch of sunny and shady zones prevents wasted effort. and helps the garden feel effortless. Soil is the foundation. Test a few spots with a trowel. Is the soil heavy and clumpy or light and gritty? Improve it gradually with compost. Compost improves drainage in clay and increases water holding in sandy soils while building beneficial soil life. Rather than attempting dramatic one-time fixes, top-dress beds with compost seasonally and watch the soil change. Healthy soil means fewer pests, better blooms, and less need for chemical inputs. Choose a planting palette that balances repetition and surprise. Pick 2 or 3 dominant color families to repeat across beds, so the eye moves harmoniously along the path. Use accents in complementary colors for contrast. In this scene, cool blues and lavenders balance warm yellows and pinks, creating a pleasing rhythm. Combine bold, long-flowering perennials with airy fillers to soften edges and extend interest. Repeat key plants in groups to tie the beds together. Introduce small pockets of variety to keep the composition lively. Plan beds with gentle curves and clear edges. Curves feel organic and invite exploration. Low edging, stone, timber, or a white picket can define spaces and help with tidy maintenance. The path should be wide enough to stroll comfortably and framed by lower plants, so the view opens as you approach the cottage. Place a focal point where sight lines meet. A bench beneath a shrub, a small statue, or a striking plant that draws the eye and gives the garden a destination. Plant with maturity in mind. Group plants in odd numbers. 3s and 5s read more natural than pairs. And space them according to their mature size so beds won't become overcrowded. Put taller plants toward the back or center of island beds, with lower plants at the edge. When planting, loosen circling roots. Dig a hole slightly wider than the root ball. Set the plant at the correct depth. Water in thoroughly, and firm the soil gently to remove air pockets. Create a shallow saucer at planting to hold water and reduce runoff. Adopt a watering and mulching routine that reduces work. New transplants need consistent moisture until roots establish. Then switch to deeper, less frequent watering to encourage deep root growth. Mulch 3 to 4 inches of organic material around plants to retain moisture, suppress weeds, and feed the soil as it breaks down. Mulch also visually unites beds and makes the garden look mature faster. Designed for pollinators and biodiversity. Choose single-form flowers where possible. The bees and butterflies can access them more easily than heavy doubles. Plant for bloom succession so there is nectar and pollen from spring through autumn. Bulbs and early perennials, a summer show of lupins and salvias, and late-season asters and sedums. Include fragrant herbs like lavender and thyme for scent and utility. A small shallow water source in some sheltered areas. Dense shrubs, log piles, or an insect hotel. Invite beneficial insects and birds that help keep pests in check. Keep maintenance simple and regular. Short weekly sessions of weeding, deadheading, and a quick pest check prevent small issues from becoming large tasks. Deadhead plants that rebloom to extend flowering, but leave some seed heads for winter interest and bird food. Divide overcrowded perennials every few years to renew vigor, and create extra plants for trading or expanding other beds. Light pruning preserves natural shapes and maintains the cottage feel. Compost to close the loop. Collect kitchen vegetable scraps, no meat or dairy. And garden clippings for a small compost bin. Layer greens and browns to encourage decomposition, and use finished compost to top dress beds in spring and autumn. This reduces waste, builds soil, and cuts dependence on synthetic fertilizers, an investment that pays dividends in plant health and resilience. Add small structures and personal touches to make the garden usable and distinct. A simple trellis for climbers, a painted bench, handmade plant markers, or reclaimed timber raised beds add personality and purpose. Raised beds define planting zones, improve drainage, and make planting and weeding easier. Keep a compact tool station with a trowel, pruning shears, and a watering can so small tasks are easy to do in the moment. Think seasonally for year-round interest. Plant bulbs and early perennials for spring. Use a mix of annuals and perennials for summer color, and include late bloomers and grasses for autumn texture. Choose evergreen or structural shrubs to hold form in winter. Consider silhouette and seed heads as part of the design to ensure the garden reads well even in the colder months. Practice sustainable choices and community building. Choose native and drought-tolerant plants where possible to reduce water and chemical needs. Group plants with similar water needs together to conserve resources. Share seedlings and cuttings with neighbors to form a local swap. Gardening together builds skill, resilience, and a sense of belonging. Finish each work session with a short walk and one clear next step. Note one success and one small task for the following week. Add compost to a bed, plant a handful of pollinator plugs, or edge the path. Incremental progress leads to a fully realized garden without overwhelming effort. Thank you for walking through this cottage garden with Home with Studio. If this approach resonates, choose one simple action this week. Map the light in your yard, add compost to a single bed, or plant a few pollinator-friendly seedlings. Small steps create big change. If this guide was helpful and more seasonal how-tos are wanted, please subscribe to Home with Studio and ring the bell so we can grow together.